era football. This is one of the two Monday night football games in week one. This one features the 1992 New Orleans Saints with one of the greatest linebacking cores in NFL history versus the 1998 Minnesota Vikings, which is one of the greatest offenses of all time. Of course, Randy Moss was a rookie, but he did not play like a rookie. He played like almost an MVP in 1998, as well as Hall of Famer Chris Carter and Jake Reed, three dynamic receivers. Randall Cunningham was great that year. Just a great offense versus a great defense. That's what we have here today. Take a look at Robert Smith. Some of the Saints coming out. The Saints defense is absolutely electrifying, but their offense is one of the worst, I would say, in best era football. Again, all these teams made the playoffs, so the worst in this league is not a terrible offense, but it looks like Palmer is going to need a haircut. He should not have the long hair. Again, this is week one. We're going to have some haircuts that need to happen, but hopefully we take care of those all in week one. Definitely leave comments if you see any of those. We've mentioned Palmer already, but I'm sure there's more. But as I was saying, when the Vikings have the ball, it's going to be great to see the great Vikings offense, who at the time was the record-setting offense, versus a great Saints defense. When the Saints have the ball, an underwhelming Saints offense against a average, actually better than average, but not great defense of the 98 Vikings. Two very good field goal kickers, of course, in Morton Anderson and Gary Anderson. So if it comes down to field goals, no advantage there, as both teams have a great one. Randall Cunningham will pass on the first play, and he will throw it underneath to Chris Carter. Great hands on that guy, 7-yard gain. I don't think the Saints are capable of blowing out the Vikings, but we could have anything from a Vikings blowout to a Vikings close win to a Saints close win. It's a handoff to Robert Smith. He'll get 7 yards, so the Vikings get 7 yards on each of their first two plays. Pat Swilling on the tackle. And play action pass now. Cunningham waiting. He'll throw it across the middle, and he'll complete another one. This time to Chris Carter again. So 7 yards to Carter, 7-yard carry by Smith, and then a 22-yard completion to Carter. And the Vikings are moving right down the field. This is one of two Monday Night Football games. Of course, the last game of week one will be broadcast on YouTube. It may happen as early as tomorrow, which is Sunday. Otherwise, it'll be as late as Thursday night. But sometime between now and Thursday, the week one will end. There's Robert Smith and Leroy Horde, Chris Carter, Randy Moss are your receivers. Jake Reed, of course, will be in as the third receiver. And their tight end is Glover. A bunch of great players on offense. 2nd and 5 here for the Vikings. Cunningham will fake it to Smith, roll out, fire deep, and connect down to the 12-yard line. What a drive by the Vikings. Cunningham is 3 of 3 for 51 yards. Look at that throw. Look at that catch. And that's not even one of the stars. That is 4th receiver Matthew Hatchett, who had a 22-yard diving reception there. This Viking offense is loaded. Cunningham turns, fires out of the end zone, avoids the sack. Now Cunningham is also on the 1990 Eagles. So he is one of the quarterbacks that will appear on 2 of the 32 teams. It's just the way it worked out. There's the 4 linebackers: Ricky Jackson, Sam Mills, Vaughn Johnson, Pat Swilling, all Pro Bowlers. Jackson, of course, in the Hall of Fame. Sam Mills, a great middle linebacker. Pat Swilling, a great sack artist on the outside. It's all about the linebackers for the Saints. But as I was saying about Cunningham, he does play differently here on the Vikings than you'll see him on the 90 Eagles. Definitely a scrambler on the Eagles with a super-powered arm. Arm strength a little bit, not much less, but a little bit less, but accuracy is still there. He can still make every throw, and he is a little smarter with age here on the 98 Vikings, and of course better weapons. That always helps. So it'll be interesting to see which quarterback does better, the 98 Randall Cunningham on this Vikings team or the 1990 Randall Cunningham on the Eagles team. On that Eagles team, he is the star. As he goes, the Eagles go. On this team, he just needs to get the ball out to Carter and Moss and Robert Smith and all his weapons. So here from the shotgun, 3rd and 10. He's waiting, good protection. Now a throw into the end zone, and it is complete to Randy Moss. Touchdown. Randy Moss, there you see his first career touchdown reception. He was a rookie in 98, so that is actually accurate in a way. Nice coverage by the Saints, but Randy Moss just uses body position, makes the catch. You can't start a season much better than the 98 Vikings just did. Got the ball, drove it down the field, put it in the end zone. They do look dangerous. Now, you'll recall the afternoon game on Sunday was featured the Packers, that you can find on YouTube here on the Phantom Fighters station, and the Packers looked great as well. So actually a pretty NFC North heavy, as the morning game featured the Bears. They were upset. Then you saw the Packers look great. Now the Vikings look great one drive into the game, but let's see what Bobby Hebert and the Saints can do. Now the Saints, with that great defense, like to throw some ball control offense in, but they're not a necessarily run-heavy team. They're pretty balanced, not great at either running or passing, but Bobby Hebert loads up and slings it way downfield on the first play of the game. Wow. Hebert threw it about as far as he can. And there's a look at the offensive lineman for the Saints. Dalton Hilliard and Vaughn Dunbar will take a lot of snaps at running back. Hilliard is the starter and will get the bulk of the carries, but they also have their fullback, Ironhead Hayward, will also slot in as running back here and there. On the second play, Hebert hits the tight end, Tice, for a 6-yard gain, and that brings up 3rd and 4. Now, not just the Saints, but any team that's taken on this 98 Vikings offense is going to want to get as many first downs as they can to keep them on the sidelines. And Hebert does just that as he comes through with a 3rd down completion. Very good play. Yeah, there is a couple teams in this league. The greatest show on turf, the 99 Rams, this 98 Vikings team, Marino's 84 Dolphins, Montana and Rice and those 89 Niners. Definitely a few teams. I'm sure there's others out there. The 98 Broncos were pretty electrifying on offense. Plenty of teams that you want to ball control and keep the ball away from them. So the Saints will see what they can do here against the Vikings. Good drive so far. They've gotten it into Morton Anderson's field goal range, and there's a nice handoff as Dalton Hilliard runs over a man and turns it into an 8-yard gain. So the Vikings drove right down the field and put it in the end zone. The Saints are driving right down the field. And Hilliard will throw a man off of him, but the second man is there to take him out. He actually lost a yard. Or maybe it was a no gain. Fuller picked up the pieces after Hilliard threw the first tackler off of him. 3rd and 2. This is a big play for the Saints. Handoff and a first down. That's Ironhead Hayward. He was in at running back and he powered forward for 5 yards. And the Saints have definitely done a couple things here. They've taken some time off the clock, gave their defense a rest, and hopefully they get at least some points out of this, but that is a 3-yard loss on first down. Brings up a 2nd and 13. 2nd and 13. They will hand off again, and this time he's thrown to the ground. Was that Big Jerry Ball? I believe that was Big Jerry Ball that took him and threw him to the ground, and that takes a 3rd and 15. Bobby Hebert on 3rd and 15. He doesn't want to get sacked to make it a harder field goal, but he doesn't want to turn the ball over, of course, either. So he will step, he'll fire it out of the end zone. Nothing was there. He just threw it out of the end zone to make sure Morton Anderson still had a makeable field goal here. Here's a left-handed kicker, one of the few. And from 43 yards out, Morton Anderson will hit it long enough and good. We're indoor, so not any problem for Morton Anderson there. And the Saints partially answered the first drive touchdown of the Vikings with a field goal drive of their own. And with 4:56 left in the first quarter, it is 7-3, 98 Vikings over the 92 Saints. Vikings return it out to the 27-yard line, and that's where Cunningham and this super offense will take over. Again, that's David Palmer with the haircut needed. Randy Moss has long hair as well. He did have long hair a couple years in his career, I believe. I'll have to look. I believe in 98 he did have long hair, so I think that is on purpose, but I'll double check. Comment below if you believe that Randy Moss did not have long hair yet in 1998, and we can certainly make a haircut happen. Robert Smith another 5 yards, and that's the thing about this 98 Vikings. They are a superior passing team, but Robert Smith is no slouch at running back either, so they are just a good offense all the way around. Cunningham will give it to Smith again. He will bounce off the first tackler, and actually the first tackler, Pat Swilling, Smith bounced off of him, but Swilling stayed with it and still ended up making the tackle just a few yards later. Another first down for the Vikings, so you heard the horn go off. And Cunningham will play action this time. He'll roll to his right. He waits. He slings it downfield, and nicely broken up. Toy Cook, one of the corners that will have his hands full today. Cunningham from the shotgun now. He's looking good protection, slings it over the middle. That's a first down to Chris Carter. Cunningham 6 of 8 for 85 yards and a touchdown. Nice start for him. Chris Carter's already up to 3 catches in this first quarter. Cunningham back to pass again. He'll throw it incomplete. A misfire there. And that'll bring up 2nd and 10. Cunningham drives back to pass again. Line gives him time, but the coverage is good, so they'll have to take the short pass out to Mr. Anthony Glover. And that will get half of it and bring up a 3rd and 5. Cunningham now from the shotgun all alone as Robert Smith splits out. Here comes the blitz from the Saints. Cunningham gets rid of it over the middle, and it's knocked away by Ricky Jackson. They blitzed on one side, but Jackson dropped back into coverage, and he knocked the ball away for an incompletion. Now Gary Anderson is a very good, accurate kicker. Can he make it from 54? We're about to find out. 54 yards out. It is indoor. Kick is up. It's on line. And it is not long enough. It's no good from 54 yards out. And the Saints will take over at the 44-yard line. Hebert comes out in the shotgun. And he will hand it off. Big shot delivered, but Hilliard holds on to the football. And here's a look at the defensive line. Williams, Ball, Alexander, and Big John Randall on the Vikings line. Ed McDaniel, Dwayne Rudd, and Dixon Edwards are your linebackers. Orlando Thomas and Robert Griffith are the safeties. Corey Fuller and Jimmy Hitchcock are your corners. Again, above average defense. But the offense is definitely the story for the Vikings, just like the Saints' story is their linebackers and defense. And there's a power run by Dalton Hilliard. He's up to 14 yards now on 5 carries. 3rd and 1. Remember, every third down is critical for the Saints, as they need to keep that Viking offense on the sidelines. Play action pass. Avery rolls to the right, slings it towards the right, and it's knocked away. Incomplete, and the Saints will have to punt. And the punt goes out of bounds at the 21. So the Vikings will take over at the 21-yard line, up 7-3. Cunningham comes out throwing and completes an 8-yard pass. So that will be the last play of the first quarter. Cunningham's at 99 yards in 1 quarter. It's a good start for him. And we're back here for the second quarter. Play action pass. Cunningham rolls, fires on the money to Randy Moss. And the Vikings are in Saints territory again. The Vikings are playing a very good Saints defense, and they're already at 150 yards here early in the second quarter. Play action pass again. Cunningham throws it short this time, and that gets him inside the 40-yard line. Cunningham 10 of 14 for 131 yards. The other difference about the two Cunninghams, he wore number 12 on the Eagles. He's wearing number 7 here for the Vikings. So the only starting quarterback on 2 different teams. The other quarterbacks that will appear on 2 teams is Bernie Kosar is a starter on the 86 Browns, but a backup on the 93 Cowboys. You'll also see Trent Dilfer on both the 99 Bucks and the 2000 Ravens. And the funny thing about Trent Dilfer is he split starts on both of those teams. So he'll battle all season Tony Banks as who will be the starter on the 2000 Ravens. And he'll fight with Sean King on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. So he might be a starter on both teams. He might be a backup on both teams as the season goes on. There's a nice play by the Saints to back up the Vikings. They're at the 36. Gary Anderson just missed from 54. This is about a 53-yarder. So if they can stop them, there will definitely be a decision to be made by Coach Dennis Green. But instead, Robert Smith gets the first down and much more all the way down to the 23-yard line. Cunningham's over 130 in the air. Robert Smith is now up to 36 yards on the ground. The Vikings have run 20 offensive plays already in the first 18 minutes of the game. Cunningham will fake it. Smith play action and then throw it to Smith inside to the 20-yard line. Cunningham 11 of 15 now. The Saints trying to bend but not break. If they are down by 4, they would love to keep the Vikings to a field goal attempt. But here's the handoff to Robert Smith again. No, that's Leroy Horde this time. Leroy Horde gets his first carry of the game, gains 1 yard. And another 3rd and 4. Saints need to get out of here. Otherwise, the Vikings are going to be celebrating another touchdown. See if they blitz or play coverage. They'll bring 2. Cunningham stays in there and delivers a perfect ball to Jake Reed, the forgotten man. A very good receiver in his own right, but the other 2 are Hall of Famers, so it's easy to get forgotten. First and goal, Cunningham from the shotgun. We'll hand it off to Robert Smith. He'll get to the 5-yard line. And now Cunningham will turn the handoff to the fullback, who will drive it down to the 2-yard line. That is Evans. 3-yard carry. He gets the ball very rarely, but he is, just like the rest of the offense, good at his job, which is mostly blocking. Now 3rd and goal. Cunningham fires end zone, and it's knocked down. So the Saints finally get off the field on the 3rd down, the most important 3rd down of the drive, as it was the touchdown saving down. And the Vikings get all the way down to the 2-yard line, but will have to settle for 3. Gary Anderson is not going to miss from here, that's for sure. But can the Saints block it? They cannot. Gary Anderson puts it home, and the Vikings improve their lead to a full 7, now 10-3. The Vikings are lighting up at the stat book with yardage, but the Saints will get the ball. Seeing the scoreboard say 10-3. If they can put a touchdown drive together here, they'll be feeling very good about themselves. 84. That is, I have to look who that is. Drawing a blank right now. But I don't believe he has long hair regardless. So a couple of haircuts need to be made after this one. Total yards, you see the Vikings are up near 200, whereas the Saints are at 50. But again, they're only down by 1 score. Hilliard gets 4 yards on first down, brings up a 2nd and 6. Abear drops back to pass, steps up, throws it towards the sidelines, and he can only get 1 foot down inbounds. So it'll bring up 3rd and 6 here, and the Saints really want to pick up this 3rd down as their defense has been torched for yardage-wise, and I think they're too tired to get back out there right now. Abear looks, he fires, and he throws it to a purple jersey. Vikings will start. Dwayne Rudd with the pick, brings it down to the 22-yard line, and the Saints were lucky to find themselves only down by 7, but now after the turnover, the Vikings have a chance to really put a big I'm missing. I'm not thinking about, the words aren't coming out. Basically, the Vikings are about to not put the game away, it's too early for that, but really take a stranglehold of this game if they can get this one into the end zone. But the first play does start with a sack, and that's what the Saints are known for, getting sacks. Here they blitz on 2nd down, but that allows Cunningham to hit Glover. First down inside the 10. The Saints will blitz. They like to get sacks, but Cunningham is so good on this 1998 Vikings team of getting the ball out quick. There's a play-action pass. Cunningham rolls out. He fires towards the sideline. That's complete to Glover again, down to the 5-yard line. Cunningham 14 of 19. 5.5 to go in the first half. It's 10-3. 2nd goal coming up. Last drive, the Vikings got down to the 2 and then stalled. Here they're at the 5, and Cunningham will throw it complete into the end zone. Touchdown. That's Robert Smith out of the backfield. Just got in at the pylon, and the Vikings take a commanding 16-3 lead here. Gary Anderson will add another point, I am sure. There it is. 1998 Vikings up 17-3 on this Saints team from 1992. And one of the earlier broadcasts you'll see on my channel, I talked about the ratings. Again, I rated all the players in this roster set. Of course, the overall ratings is not the end-all be-all in Madden, not by any stretch. When I started this game, I'm not sure if it showed or not, but Madden says that the 1992 Saints are a rated 92 overall team, whereas the 1998 Vikings are only a 90. I say the Vikings are favored to win this matchup, and it's showing. I mean, it's 17-3, so the overall ratings, I'm not sure how Madden calculates them. I've seen some formulas. They don't seem to be exact in the test cases that I did. But ultimately, you'll see how they play on the field. That's why we're doing this season. If you download the rosters and you just look at what Madden says the overall teams are, that's not really how they're going to finish in this season. I do not believe. I believe the 98 Vikings are going to be better than the 92 Saints. With that said, the Vikings are in a division with the 96 Packers and 85 Bears, so they will have a tougher schedule than the 92 Saints. But here we get to see it head-to-head, and right now the Vikings look unbeatable, really, whereas the Saints are struggling to get any yard that they can. But, I mean, there's turnovers. Anything can happen to get them back in this game. They just need to get some more points before the half here. The Saints will get the ball to start the second half. Hayward gets his third carry. He has 3 carries for only 1 yard. Two and a half to go. The Saints just need about 20 more yards to get 3 points here. Hayward completes underneath. He is 5 of 10 for 69 yards. And that'll bring up the 2-minute warning. Saints trail 17-3. But if they can just get a field goal here, get it into the locker room 17-6, and then get the ball to start the second half, get a scoring drive on that drive, and you're down to a 1-score game. That's the hope for the Saints. Hayward does get rid of it before he gets sacked, but it's incomplete. 3rd and 1. Do they have the guts to smash the ball up the middle and try to get this first down? I don't think they do. I think they're going to punt here. No, they're going to try a 57-yard field goal from Morton Anderson, one of the best kickers in best era football. Let's see if he can connect from 57. Kick is up. It is close, but it's not going to get there. Wide right. I think it was going to be short as well. 57 yards is a long way to kick it. Indoors, I mean, he can make from 57. He did make a 60-yarder in New Orleans once. But you see, he's just a little short and to the right on that one. And that gives this great offense of the Vikings the ball just a first down away from having a field goal chance of their own. Cunningham spins away from the sack and fires it out of bounds. Great job by him. Saints brought the heat, but Cunningham read it and got rid of it. The Saints have thrown 21 times compared to just 9 runs here in the first half. Cunningham will throw again. He'll go underneath this time to Glover. Cunningham is 16 of 22 for 176 yards and 2 touchdowns. Glover has reeled in 4 of those 16 completions. 3rd and 5. The Saints can stop him here and not give up any more points. That would be nice. But Cunningham's going to get time from his offensive line. Step up, and he will fire it downfield. Complete down to the 25-yard line. Cunningham up to 199. Randy Moss has his third catch. You see Cunningham started to look like he was going to run, but he's always looking downfield and finds Randy Moss. Cunningham, pump fake. Now he looks towards the end zone, got his man down inside the 5. And the Vikings call timeout with exactly 1 minute to go. First and goal from the 4. The Vikings are already up to 260 yards. Cunningham waiting, still waiting. Great coverage by the Saints. Cunningham steps up. He's going to throw it into the end zone, but incomplete. Great coverage by the Saints on that one. Brings up second and goal. Chris Carter in motion. Cunningham takes it. He fires and finds his man. Is that Jake Reed? That is Jake Reed for the touchdown. Third touchdown pass of the first half for Randall Cunningham. And the Vikings are to a 23-3 lead over the Saints. Well, I told you this could be anything from a close victory from the Saints to a blowout from the Vikings. And it looks to be the latter right now. The Saints are in a lot of trouble, down 24-3. Hebert does have the one turnover, but that's the story is not turnovers. It's just this Viking offense is sensational. And even this very good Saints defense cannot do anything about it. Now, the Saints are not the best defensive team in the league. That would belong to teams such as the 2000 Ravens and 1985 Bears. 86 Giants are also right up there. So this is not the hardest test the Vikings will have, but this is a team built on defense, and the Vikings are just trashing it. Hebert rolls out, throws it into the ground. Second and 10 now. Hebert from the shotgun. He's in trouble, gets rid of it though, and completes it for a first down, but there might be a holding penalty as the Vikings are coming on the blitz, and I think the Saints reached out and grabbed some people. Yes, they did. This is going to be on Stan Brock. You don't want your quarterback to get killed, so I'm sure he appreciates the penalty, even though it takes a first down away. Saints are backed up all the way to the 12. Hebert will step up. He'll throw it complete up to the 25-yard line. And there's an injury on that. Who is the injury on? It looks like it's on a Viking. So the clock will stop. The Saints still have all 3 timeouts. If they pick up this first down, they might use them and try to get a field goal. Otherwise, they could run it and make the Vikings use their last timeout. Looks like the Saints will hand it off. Gains only the yard. Vikings call their last timeout. They will get the ball back. See if they could put even more points on the board. They're already up to 24 here in the first half. Which leads the question, what has the most points been? We saw the Packers put up 33 in a non-televised game, but a game that I, of course, watched. The Raiders put up 34. I don't think anyone... The Dolphins, I think on the ticker we saw the Dolphins beat the Bucks 38-5. I think that's the most points so far. It's 38 by the 1984 Miami Dolphins. There's still one game remaining. That's the 98 Broncos and 94 Chargers. But up until, not including that last game, that last Monday night game, right now the highest scoring offense was 38 points by Dan Marino and the Dolphins. But here at the half, the Minnesota Vikings of 1998 have already put up 24 points. And we'll see how the second half goes. Robert Smith picks up a few more yards. And that'll bring us to halftime. Vikings all over the Saints, 24-3. Saints will start off with the ball. They desperately need a touchdown on this drive. Saints will start at the 26-yard line. Plenty of time. I mean, you certainly don't have to go all out passing. But what you need to do is you need to get a touchdown this drive. Total yards, you see the Vikings are at 271, whereas the 1992 New Orleans Saints are only at about 100. Handoff. There's a huge hole. Nice run by McAfee, his first carry, and he gets 15 yards. So I'm not sure if the Saints actually replaced Hilliard with McAfee or if that was just a situational handoff to him, but McAfee now has 2 carries in the second half for 13 yards. That one wasn't as good as the first, but it seems like that was one adjustment the Saints may have made, was changing their running back. This 1998 Vikings team, though, is just so dangerous on offense. Bear and the Saints. There's a fumble, and now the Vikings will score a defensive touchdown. John Randall. It's nice to see John Randall get a touchdown. With all this offensive firepower that the 98 Vikings bring, sometimes you forget that they have players on defense as well, such as John Randall and Derek Alexander. Alexander comes in, forces the fumble. Randall picks it up, and he takes it the house for a touchdown. But there is a booth review, as all turnovers are, and the Saints can only hope this is overturned. It looks like his knee's down. I'm going to say Bear's knee is down right there, and then the ball comes out. See how the refs see it. It is overturned. And so the Saints are still only down by 21. But they need to pick up 21 yards on this play to keep the drive going. Bear slings it downfield. He's got his man, and he does pick up the first down. So a great reversal of a call, followed by a 24-yard completion. And the Saints are not completely dead yet. Dalton Hilliard back in at running back, and he picks up a few yards. Handoff to Hilliard again. Gains another yard. 3rd and 4 coming up. Bear from the shotgun. He will take it. He will sling it to no one in particular, but there is a flag on the play. Highly contested, and it will be pass interference. There was a lot of contact. Wasn't sure if they would call it, but they do call it on Jimmy Hitchcock. And the Saints now. Just a minute ago, we saw a fumble return for a touchdown, but it turned out it was not a fumble. He was down before fumbling the ball. And now they're all the way down to the 22-yard line. Must touchdown here. Bear fires towards the end zone into double coverage. But nobody comes down with it. The receiver actually played defense on that one. Second and 10 now from the 22. Bear fires across the middle. He's got his man down inside the 5. That's the first reception for Brenner. Hobie Brenner, the tight end. 1st and goal from the 3. If the Saints put this ball in the end zone and a couple other things happen, we might have a game here. Oh, the handoff to Ironhead. But Alexander comes in. I'm sorry, Ed McDaniel comes in and takes out the legs, which is a smart play. 2nd and goal. Aver drops back. He throws and hits his tight end for the touchdown. So that was the drive the Saints needed to start the second half. Gets into the end zone. Morton Anderson will come out for the extra point and puts that through. So the Saints have chopped it down to a 14-point lead. Okay, now the 98 Vikings. Can they be stopped? I'm not sure that they've punted yet. They have 3 touchdowns, a field goal, a missed field goal, and they may have punted once. They've either punted 0 times or 1 time, so still a big battle, as the Saints are going to have to force some punts if they're going to get back into this game. Vikings put 271 yards up in the first half. And now Cunningham from the shotgun. He will give it to Robert Smith, who gets a few yards. He's up to 52 yards now running. Cunningham, quick throw out to Glover, first down. Cunningham now 20 of 27, 233 yards, 3 touchdowns, and of course no turnovers. And as good of a defense as the Saints are, they are not necessarily a turnover producing machine like the 99 Buccaneers or the 84 Seahawks are. Oh, but there they go. I was going to say, they don't necessarily force a bunch of turnovers, but they need to in this game, and they do. A big hit delivered, and then a fumble recovered by Sam Mills. Who had the hit? It is the safety, Maxey, I believe. Who comes up? Boom. Adkins, the safety, Adkins, blows him up. Smith fumbles the ball, and Sam Mills jumps on it, and Aver comes out. And now, all of a sudden, the Saints have the ball at the 40-yard line. They're still down by 14. But if they get this ball into the end zone, what a change of events that would be. Handoff on first down in a big hole. Hilliard gets 10 yards and is an inch short of the first down. Gene Adkins. That's a game-changing hit, as all of a sudden the Saints have the momentum now, even though they're down by 14. Play action pass. Aver in trouble, but gets rid of it. Beautiful play by Aver. Play action. The defense was all over him, but he got rid of it. Picked up another first down. And now they're definitely in field goal range. 6.5 to go in the third. What looked like it was going to be a tremendous blowout for the Vikings is now possibly turning into a game here. Handoff to Ironhead Hayward, who blasts forward for a couple. He has just 2 yards on 6 carries. Second and 8 coming up. Aver from the shotgun. His line gives him time. He fires it, but the Vikings are playing coverage defense and knock that one away. 5 minutes and 40 seconds remain in the third quarter. Saints down by 2 touchdowns. Big third down coming up here. Aver from the shotgun. He's looking. He's looking. He's still looking. And down he'll go. He fumbles the ball. And I think the Vikings pick it up as the offensive lineman just couldn't find it. Aver gets hit, fumbles the ball. And the Saints, who were driving, trying to make it a game, blow their opportunity. Here's Aver waiting. John Randall hits him, fumbles, looked once, twice he tries to pick it up but cannot, and the Vikings recover it. Oh, the offensive lineman wants those pickup attempts back. He should have just fell on it, but now the Vikings get the momentum back. And play action pass. Randall, is he going to go deep? Randall Cunningham fires it deep down the field and completes to Chris Carter. A 36-yard reception. The Vikings, just typical of the 98 Vikings, they get the fumble and right away hit the big play, and now all the momentum's back with the Vikings. They're up to 325 yards of offense already. 265 of that through the air. Here's a handoff to Robert Smith. He fumbled his last carry, and here he loses. No, he gets back to the line of scrimmage, but that's it. We're already in Gary Anderson's field goal range. Cunningham, play action pass. He slings it down towards the sidelines and has his man again. Cunningham up to 288 yards. Cunningham turns, gives it to Smith, and he will get tackled at the 14-yard line. That's Swilling's third tackle of the day. Sam Mills has a fumble recovery, but the other three star linebackers haven't really had their name called much in this one. There's a pitch out to Leroy Horde, his second carry. He gets 7 on that one. He now has 2 carries for 8 yards and a big 3rd and 1 here. The game already feels like it's on the brink of being over. If the Vikings get this in the end zone, I think it is. Cunningham drops back. He throws. He's got his man, and he's not in the end zone, but all the way down to the 1-yard line. Cunningham was 1 yard short of throwing his 4th touchdown pass. As it is, he's up to 299 with 3 touchdown passes. Hand off to Smith, and he will somehow get stopped. It looked like there's a big hole, but Sam Mills comes up with a huge tackle. His 4th tackle. He has been the best player on the Saints defense, but they're on the edge here. They have to stop him 2 more times. Cunningham from the shotgun, waiting, fires. He's got his man, but the Saints keep him out of the end zone again. The Saints are definitely not giving up. Sam Mills on the tackle again, just a stud linebacker. And Andrew Glover's up to 8 catches for 80 yards, so he has been a big weapon for the Vikings. Cunningham drops back. He'll roll out. He fires, and he's got his man for the touchdown. That's touchdown pass number 4, the 2nd tight end along. Vikings. Randall Cunningham on pace to be the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. He's over 300 yards, or right at 300 yards now, and 4 touchdown passes with 0 turnovers. So we're either going to see an amazing comeback by the Saints, which would be highly unexpected with the way the Saints offense operates, or we'll just see a nice, easy win by this 98 Vikings team. Bobby Hebert on the day, 10 of 19, 141 yards. Just cannot keep pace with Randall Cunningham, and that's to be expected. There's a nice run by Hilliard. He's up to 48 yards on the day. And that, will the Saints call one more play before the 3rd quarter? They line up as if they're going to. And they do snap it. It's a handoff to Ironhead Hayward, who gets a 1st down, a gain of about 6 or 7, but now there's a flag, and that's holding against the Saints. It's against Stan Brock, his 2nd holding penalty of the game, and that's how the 3rd quarter ends. All Vikings, 31-10. Carter, Reed, and Moss have all made their names and presence felt. Glover's had a big game. Cunningham has been absolutely fabulous. And the Vikings defense has actually played well as on top of all that. Bobby Hebert just, this is not his game. His game is not to shoot out with Randall Cunningham. And put in this position, he is showing that he just is not quite capable of that. 11 of 21, 151 yards. I mean, they've moved the ball a little bit. If they were playing a less potent offense, then it would be a closer game, of course, and the Saints' offensive performance would be just fine. But against this 98 Vikings team, you got to find a way to do more. And there you see they fail on 4th and inches, and that's it. Now we just have to see how much the Vikings want to run up the score. There's still 14 minutes left, but they're up by 3 touchdowns. Let's see. They will hand off. See, Pat Swilling was trying to rip the ball out, though. If the Vikings keep the pedal to the metal, they might go over 500 yards. But it looks like they might just be trying to be nice to the Saints and keep it a 3-touchdown game. Play action pass now. Cunningham fires downfield and incomplete. There's an injury. Who's that on? Gary Anderson comes out from 51. He missed from 54. This one's from 51. Good snap. Kick is up, and this one is good. Saints take over from their 26. Now it's just about pride. I mean, it's 34-10. If you got a quick touchdown, maybe you could still tell yourself you're still in this game, but really it's just about pride. They gotta, and also working on things for the rest of the season. Get some things that work together for when you're in a closer game, hopefully next week. Hebert takes it in trouble, gets rid of it right before he gets blasted by Big Jerry Ball. That's a big man with a lot of momentum, blasting Hebert. But he did good to get rid of it. 3rd and 4. There you see 38 points by the Dolphins is the most so far this week. The Vikings are at 34 with almost 12 minutes left. Here's 4th and 4. The Saints are going to go for it again. They failed on 4th and inches, but here on 4th and 4 they will throw. Hebert fires, and did he come up with it? He did not. Incomplete, and the Vikings take over already in field goal range. Of course, the field goal only gets them to 37, which would not catch the Dolphins yet for best most points scored in week 1. And Cunningham just adds to his excellent play as he barks and forces the Saints offsides. Marino, Favre, both had great games. This game by Randall Cunningham might be the best of week 1. Here's a handoff to Robert Smith. He slams forward. He's up to 61 yards now. The only blemish the Vikings have is the Robert Smith fumble. Otherwise, they've been basically perfect today. Play action pass. Cunningham will throw it. Oh, and there, Cunningham misses an open receiver, and that's about the only thing he's done wrong today. 3rd and 1 now. Play action pass. Cunningham rolls, and he throws to his back, Leroy Horde. The horn goes off. The Vikings have already been in the red zone 5 times. They've scored 4 touchdowns and settled for a field goal 1 time. But they're 5 for 5 in the red zone and getting touchdowns 80% of the time. Absolutely remarkable. Will the Vikings be the first team to get to 40 points in best era football? And off to Robert Smith, and the Saints knock him down. Nine minutes to go. 3rd and 8. Cunningham will probably be throwing. Will he go for Moss, Glover, Carter, Reed? Robert Smith has gotten a touchdown catch already. Cunningham steps up, still waiting. Now Hill is going to run for it and slide at the 5. That's his first rush of the day. He gained 5, did not want to get hit, so he goes down, and Gary Anderson will come out for a chip shot field goal. Anderson puts that through, and the Vikings are up to 37 points. Again, the most points scored here in best era football so far was by the 1984 Miami Dolphins when they won 38-5. This is equally impressive blowout of 37-10, but technically 1 point short of the 84 Dolphins performance. There's about 4 or 5 haircuts that I need to perform after this game, so when you see these teams again, hopefully they will be more accurate with the hair. Again, if you notice anything else, such as a player number off or misspellings, definitely comment below. Of course, you can comment what you do like about the rosters as well, but I certainly do not take offense for anyone pointing out something that's incorrect so that we can fix it before we move on to further weeks in this game. Hebert from the shotgun again. Just looking, waiting, throws it, incomplete. And the Vikings know they're passing on every play. That makes it much easier to play defense and much harder for Hebert to find open receivers. He's under 50% for the day. He's one of the lower rated quarterbacks in this league anyway. Now he's got the stats to prove it. That one he throws out of bounds on purpose. Just 12 of 28. And please just punt. No, they're going to go for it. Down by 27. They still believe they have a chance. I mean, I guess that says something about their character, but it's just going to let the Vikings get more and more points here. Hebert fires. It's tipped up and incomplete. Vikings take over at the 23-yard line. Already in field goal range. It looks like they will surpass the Dolphins for most points, unless the Saints force a turnover here. Hand off to Robert Smith. He will get to the line of scrimmage. Actually, he loses a yard. Pat Swilling has 5 tackles. Oh. Pat Swilling, a big sack, blindsided Randall Cunningham, and Swilling is up to 6 tackles, including a sack. So Swilling has definitely come to play. Sam Mills did some things. Haven't heard much from Jackson or Johnson, however. And up to Robert Smith there, and the Saints gang tackle him back to the 33-yard line. So they're going to make Anderson work for it as the Saints push the Vikings back 9 yards and make it a 50-yard attempt for Gary Anderson. Trying to break the Week 1 record of points scored. Anderson's kick is up. And he's good from 50, and the Vikings have hit the 40-point mark. The first team to do it in best era football. And it makes sense as the 98 Vikings are probably the best, or at least one of the top 3 offenses in best era football. Although they did not win the Super Bowl, they had a heck of an offense. So I guess in this blowout game, we could go over some of the league structure. So as I may, from week to week, I may add in more games, but what you can pretty much count on every week is the Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night games will all be televised. And I will also try to bring one noon game or morning game and one afternoon game. So pretty much how the TV schedule works. Not if you have DirecTV, package or anything like that, but if you just have a normal subscription, you usually get your first game and then a second game in the afternoon, followed by Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football. So 5 games a week should be broadcast here on YouTube. Maybe more, though, if there's just great matchups that I feel need to be broadcast. You may get a couple morning games or maybe a couple afternoon games. Here in week 1, we have 2 Monday night games. That's why you're getting an extra one here. So typically you can count on 5 games a week or more to be broadcast. As the season goes along, if we get near the end of the season and we're trying to decide who makes the playoffs and stuff, we might have even more. If I'm really feeling adventurous, I might broadcast the entire week. But for the most part, we're set on at least 5 broadcasts per week. Not per actual week, per Madden schedule week. This being Thanksgiving weekend, I have been able to put a few out in a weekend, but mostly we're probably only going to be able to do about 1 a week, which means it may take 4 or 5 weeks to get through one Madden week, but that's okay. I mean, it took months to create the roster, so I'm okay if it takes months to get through a season, as long as if at the end of it we're finding out who the best team in my favorite era of football is. Right now, the money might be on the 1998 Minnesota Vikings, even though they did not win the Super Bowl. I mean, they were 15-1 in the regular season, and at the time, they broke the offensive records as a team. Of course, 1 year later, the 1999 Greatest Show on Turf St. Louis Rams broke some of those records right back, but at the time, the Vikings were a tremendous offensive team. And there is a catch and fumble. So the Saints trying to get a touchdown, something to build on for next week. Instead, fumble the football, makes the catch, blasted by Ed McDaniel, and then Orlando Thomas jumps on it. And the Saints don't need to call timeouts, which means 3 runs could end the game. And after Robert Smith, the Saints trying to pull the ball out, but he won't let it go. And it looks like they will not call timeout. So mercifully, this game might end 40-10. Smith 23 carries for 68 yards. Just enough running to keep the Saints defense honest, but really, I mean, Cunningham just lit him up, so didn't really matter. Hand out to Smith again, and he will pick up the first down. And that will do it. Vikings blow out the Saints 40-10. Very impressive win by the 1998 Minnesota Vikings. And that leaves us with just one game left for week one of Best Era Football. That will feature the 1994 AFC champion San Diego Chargers going to Denver to take on the 1998, or actually hosting the 1998 Denver Broncos, who won the Super Bowl. So a Super Bowl winner against a Super Bowl loser in the last game, which will be the second best, I guess, if you think about how far the teams went matchup. We did have only one matchup at week one where it was two Super Bowl teams squaring off against each other. That was Sunday Night Football. Cowboys and Giants. There's a bunch of highlights from Cunningham. Thanks for watching, everyone. Again, hit the notifications button so you know when we go live with the last game of week one and all the games throughout the season. If you liked it, definitely hit the like and subscribe buttons. If you know anyone that likes to see, you know, teams from the 80s, late 80s and 90s, and even the 2000 Ravens, certainly tell them about it. Let me know what you think about the rosters. They are available for download. Any feedback, I definitely welcome. Otherwise, just tune in and watch. That's cool too. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.